Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Catherine and today we're going to be going over step by step what it takes to run a young adult event. Now I chose to make this video because I have seen a lot of people on Reddit, in my comment section, everywhere, complaining that they are not able to make Catholic friends, or they're not able to find a Catholic spouse, or they're just looking for some kind of community. I'm making this video because I want everyone to be able to start their own young adult group if they do not already have one, or help jumpstart one if there's one that's not doing so well. I really want to call on you guys, please take this opportunity and run a young adult group. Pray as if it all depends on God. Act as if it all depends on yourself. This is what you need to do to run a successful young adult group. And people want these out there. Don't say, oh, I have to present before the parish council. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to present in front of that stuffy parish council. Work with the priest, work with neighboring parishes, get it together and create this group. You guys have no idea what it is like when you meet people and they have met their significant other, their spouse, because of your group. They would not have met if someone hadn't decided, all right, I'm going to start creating a community for people in their 20s and 30s. Ideally, these young adult groups are between the ages of 21 to 35. As you know, you need them to be at least 21 for drinking age. Some of these groups do go up till 39. That's perfectly fine as well. Mine does. So today we're going to be walking through Rosary and Rosé, which is an event I'm going to be running in September for my young adult group. It is a women's only event because although I know most people join these groups hoping to find a spouse, you're also hoping to find friends, commiserate with people of your own sex about our faith. So first things first, when you're running a young adult event, come up with an idea. So how I came up with the idea for Rosary and Rosé is I stole it from another young adult group, Catholic NYC in the city. If you live in Manhattan and you're not part of Catholic NYC, I don't know what you're doing. They have a staff that actually creates young adult events. So they're very, very, very polished, whereas, you know, most other groups are volunteers like myself. So Rosary and Rosé was an event they used to run, so now I think it's fair game. I'm going to run it for myself. I get a lot of ideas for my young adult events from other groups. I also get them from just social things that I want to do. You can have strictly social events, so doing things like going to amusement parks, going to the beach, going on a hike, going to medieval times, which my group did a few weeks ago. Just simple social events are also a great way to just promote community and promote just people meeting each other. They don't always have to be about religion. You come up with the idea. Next, get permission from your pastor, from your parish council, whatever you need to do, get the permission as soon as possible, because you don't want to put in all this work, book a venue, do all this stuff, and then find out that the pastor has something else going on that day and will not approve your event, okay? Get the permission, get it on the calendar as soon as possible. Once you have that, next you're going to book the venue, inquire about group sales, anything like that. So if you're booking a venue, email right away, get that venue booked. If you're doing something that's an activity, like say you guys are going to a hockey game and you need group sales and you need, let's say, 15 people to run that group sale. I like to get soft confirmations from about 3/4 of the required people who are going to go to that event. I do this by reaching out normally to the OG members of the group, to my close friends, finding out, okay, if it requires 15 people, can I get about 10 to commit to this event? Soft commitments, because I know things change, things happen. If I could get about 10, I know I'm going to get at least 5 others to come around and join the group. Next, you need to find out the pricing for this event. So something like this, the Rosary and Rosé, what am I going to be buying for this event? I'm going to be buying rosé, I'm going to be buying pizza, I'm going to be buying plates, napkins, cutlery, and tablecloths. Never sleep on tablecloths. Always have tablecloths at events. It just makes everything 10 times nicer. So for that, I'm going to obviously go to Party City, whatever, come up with a number, figure out how much it's going to cost for approximately how many girls I expect to show up. And if I'm a little bit worried, I'm going to add a few dollars on to the ticket price, because you can always buy more plates and napkins and save them for another event. One other thing I really like to do for having a little extra cash is doing something like I'm going to be buying flowers for this event. So I'm going to buy some flowers for this event, and then whoever at the end of the night can answer a trivia question is going to get the flowers. I already have my trivia question picked out for this event. I'm actually really excited about this. So the trivia question I'm going to be asking is, what Catholic sacrament is associated with a pelican? If you guys know, please let me know in the comments below the answer to this. You could always Google it, but you know, just let me know in the comments below to help out the algorithm. I'd really appreciate it. The next step is advertising. So I want you guys to download Canva. It's free. There's some basic stuff on there you can use that's perfectly great. That's how I do all my event advertising. and create a little flyer that you can then put in the bulletin. You can put on an email. You can send out to people, text it to people. It doesn't have to be perfect. If you have someone in your group who works in graphic design, that's great. Branch out to them, reach out to them, see if they can do something. But you can just do it yourself. It's going to be really easy. So once you have that, I'm then going to send it out to the woman who runs the bulletin at church, the email blast for the whole parish, the email blast for the young adult groups. If you have a young adult group, create a young adult email address and a newsletter. That's super helpful for making sure that the word gets out there to everyone. Send it in text messages to people and be really personal when you're sending out these text messages. Use people's names, they really like that, and say things like, oh, it'd be really great if you would come, because it would be really great if you could come. And if you're starting out this group or this group is new, reach out to parishes in the local area and put it in their bulletins as well, because people are starving for this, you guys. I can't tell you how many people are starving for Catholic young adult community. Let's say you're running this event in a town called Bloomington. Look on Facebook for New to Bloomington, Women of Bloomington, Millennials of Bloomington, things like that, and advertise your young adult event in those groups. I post my events in New to my area on Facebook, and guess what? There have been some people who have come to my events who were kind of far from the Catholic Church, but they were looking for a way to meet friends because they just moved to town, and then they came to my events, and then they grow closer to God and they make new friends, things like that. There's so many ways, you guys, to get people to come to these events. Next, you need to collect the money, right? You want to collect this money ahead of time, especially if it's something like a hockey game and you got to book the sales way ahead of time. Be as accessible as possible when it comes to collecting money. Have Venmo, have Zelle, have PayPal, but if you're using PayPal, add a few extra dollars on there. I got burned a few weeks ago. Someone sent me money on PayPal. I didn't realize there's a transfer fee to put it back into my bank account. So make sure you add some money onto PayPal. I do not like PayPal. For this Rosary and Rosé, for any event, invite the priest to come. Invite him to come because he works all day doing not priestly things sometimes, right? A lot of priests, pastors have to work all day doing logistical stuff, doing office administration, things they don't necessarily signed up to be a priest for, right? They want to come and be in this community and offer confession. I think that's so beautiful. When you have a young adult event and the priest comes, it's automatically like, hey, if you haven't been to confession in a long time, here's your opportunity to. Especially if you have a priest that's very young. There's so many people who have never met a priest that's in their 20s. It's so cool that there are priests that are our age that are out there who want to come to these things and relax and pop the collar thing a little bit and have, you know, a glass of wine or a beer with you. It's so important that young adults who are not used to being around priests are around priests and see them as they are, as normal human beings who are just like us. I will say one thing, I do think it is important to not allow older people to come to these events. I do not like it when people bring their parents. That has been an experience of mine. I think when the older people come, the younger people leave. Even if you do have a group that is 21 to 39, please understand that the late 30s people are just probably not going to get along with the people in their early 20s. And that can make them a little bit uncomfortable. And you will probably have a group that skews older or skews younger. For example, my group tends to skew older. There's not really any 21 or 22-year-olds in my group. Everyone is kind of 25 and older at this point. It's just the way it is. It's the dynamic of where you live. It's the dynamic of what the group is made up of, and that could change. These things are always changing over the years, so just be mindful of that. If you have some 21-year-olds who never come back, it might be because your group is older and they just didn't feel comfortable. Don't take it personally. There's only so much that you guys can do. All right, so I am so excited for this Rosary and Rosé event that I'm going to be running, but I am very aware of the fact that some women have never prayed the Rosary before. I've run other Rosary events in the past, and people have said, I don't know how to pray the Rosary. So I want you guys to always come prepared to explain things to people. Some people don't realize Jesus is present in the Eucharist. Some people don't know how to pray certain prayers. Some people don't know this and that. So always be very, very respectful and explain everything out to some people, because there's going to be people who don't know what's going on and they're going to be too nervous to ask. Just to try and explain everything in as respectful a way as possible. Try and provide any resources as you can. That's why I do think if you are running a young adult group, try and be, especially if the priest is not able to make it, be a little up on the knowledge, make sure you know what you're talking about, able to answer some questions. And if you're not able to answer some questions, provide some resources for people who might have some questions. Things like Catholic Answers, great resources to figure certain things out. But I pray someone watching this video gets the little push they need to run a young adult event. You don't necessarily have to run a group right away. You don't have to go crazy and try and run a Catholic dance right away. You just need to do something super, super simple. Maybe it could just be, hey, after Mass, we're all gonna meet in the parish dining room for sandwiches or donuts or coffee. It can be so simple, you guys. You don't need to overthink this. Ask your parish if they'll provide a budget for you. That would be huge, and then you don't even have to spend any money, and it's awesome. I'm praying for our church, our faith, and I'm praying for our generation. If you're a millennial like me, I'm at the bottom end of the millennials, okay? I'm 29 years old. I'm a young millennial. If you're a Gen Zer, I have so much respect for you if you want to do this and run with this. And people will make friends, and it's going to be because you took that step. You gave your fiat, your yes, to running an event. And it's so beautiful. And if you do run the event and nobody shows up, I am so sorry. It happens sometimes. Sometimes you have events and they're flops. It might be because of scheduling, it might be because the word didn't get out enough. It could be for a plethora of reasons. And you can start very simple, incorporate some social, incorporate some religious, incorporate a little bit of both, faith and fun. You know, guys know I love that. It's gonna work out great for you. You are amazing, and I would really appreciate it if you could give this video a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss one of my videos. This really helps out me. I'm getting so close to being monetized on here, so if you watched till the end of this video, I appreciate you so much. You guys are amazing. I love you, and I'm praying for you. Please pray for Catholic young adults because so many of us are struggling right now, and I appreciate you guys so much. I love you. Talk to you soon. Bye.